Harry Manilow is right. Thank you. What do I win? He said it. Me. What do I win? Okay. What? Okay, folks, it's great to be here.
Tilt the podium.
Yes, yes. Okay, so should we do that right now?
Yes, got it.
Okay, well, wait. Let's do this and then we'll meet everyone, or you want to meet everyone? Let's see. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for all your good work. I do. Well, we got a piece of the omnibus in the bill. We got 1 year of CHIP and Medicaid postpartum treatment for a whole year. It's pretty good. You helped get it done. Yes, I'll be there at 2:30.
And then the groundwork is over here. Right.
Yes, you bet.
All right.
Yep. Always great. Hello, everybody. Yes, I know it does. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here, grassroots community people, and helping us undo environmental injustice of decades. What is it, in the 20s? A long time ago, when the sawmill was built. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate everybody being here. Okay. Yes.
I'm going to squeeze through that. I apologize. I'm just
I do know. You have your Ukraine colors.
The last one I think was Orchard Beach. I'll look for you there. I'll look for you this summer.
Hip-hop?
so I'm happy.
Do you know I got $5 million for the hip-hop?
Oh, really? You liked it? Okay, good. I'm good.
I'm with USA, the national sports for Hudson Valley.
Oh, terrific. So
I'm 20.
You've done a lot for the Hudson Valley.
27. I'm 27 now, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm excited. Okay, you're ready. Are you scared?
I don't know. My kids threw it in the car.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you. Nice to see you. Hello, everybody. We said hello. How are you? We don't have to shake hands with the press. Hi. How's business? So I still eat the cheese. But they make it now with cauliflower dough. You ever make it?
Right there, absolutely, on South Broadway. Blanca, she's operations from South Broadway good as well.
I thank you.
I work with legislative.
From La Raza?
My name is
very
Millie.
nice to see you. Hello.
Live.
I'll cover your wedding. Thank you. And you've got
Yeah. I want that photo. Listen, we got rid of his old habit.
Hello, everybody. All right.
They do a community garden.
The support for the gas we have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll fold it.
Yes, let's do it.
Right behind you.
Come on in, Jamal.
No, you good. No, you good. Take it with the people first. Chuck needs one with the people.
I'm with you.
All right, one right here, guys. Everyone look right here.
There we go. There we go.
Nice.
Awesome. This one over here. There you go. Thank you.
Great.
All right.
Who else?
No, we're good. We're good.
Very good. All right, now let's get started.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay, I will. Barry Manilow. That's who's saying it.
Yonkers Voice is where we need to be. We get invited to all these events to keep you, the people of Yonkers, informed with what's going on. Senator Schumer here in Yonkers.
And first, are these my talk? Yes, okay. All right, I'm joined, of course, by my colleague in Washington who's helping me fight to get this grant, and that is Jamal Bowman, great member of the Congress. We hope to be joined by Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, but she is represented here by anybody? No. Everybody, right. Okay, we have our great Mayor Spano, who's done such a good job here. We have, of course, Assemblyman Syed, who's done a great job as well in his very nice. I thought it was you. I switched you. I have a nice blue suit like that. We have Ellen Thegg from Groundwork Hudson Valley. We have Wilson Kimball. These are the speakers. President of the Municipal Housing Authority of Yonkers. And we have Jessica Gordon of the South Broadway Improvement Development District Executive Director. That's who's speaking. Then we have Brian Carroll, Natasha Papahunda, Jim Landy, Joan McGooligan, the Lair Court residents, Valerie Pearson and Maria Torres. We have Lucretia Ortiz. We have John Thompson. Well, I didn't give the organizations. Well, they're the YMCA. Lucy Marino Casanova from the YMCA. The lower court residents, Joan and Jim, are from the MHACY board, and Natasha's from the GWHV board. Okay, so we then have Climate Safe Yonkers Task Force members, Normal Silva, Ligia Gomez, and Keisha Skipper. Thank you. We have the Green Team alumni. I met one of them. Where did she go? Okay, she was an alumni or whatever it is. And we have Haifa Bint Katie. Haifa's a local artist who created some of the public art in this park. Is he here, Haifa? She is not here. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for being here. Now, let me just say who's here right now. And we'll start up. No, it's a joke. Okay. Okay, so for decades, we all know that the Sawmill River Parkway has divided Yonkers, segregating the city's historically redlined communities west of the Parkway and creating barriers for Southwest Yonkers residents to jobs, education, service in Westchester and New York City as well. We're standing here on the old Putnam Railroad, an abandoned industrial-era railroad that formerly served as a vibrant central corridor, connecting diverse Southwest Yonkers communities to the rest of Bronx and the rest of Westchester. This was how do we revitalize this forgotten, abandoned, and polluted railroad? I am here today to announce I am launching a major push to inject new green life into Southwest Yonkers and help transform this polluted railroad track into a greenway that will finally give Southwest Yonkers the walkable, bikeable, and accessible green infrastructure they have long deserved. I'll come and ride my bike here when we get it done. I'm a bike rider. I'm not a spandex guy. I don't go 40 miles an hour. I go nice and slow, and I talk to people and look around and enjoy things. Anyway, that's okay. So I am pushing, along with Jamal, I'm pushing for over $5.4 million we are in federal funding. There's a program that I made sure got funded, called Reconnect Communities. And this is tailor-made for that program. Places where environmental injustice, they just paid no attention to poor communities of color, and just, boom, divided them, separated them. The Cross Bronx Expressway is one I'm working on with our neighbor to the south, Congressman Torres, as well, in the Bronx. And it happened in Brooklyn, in my home borough of Brooklyn, too. So we're pushing for this money. And this is the first year of this program. And I am going to use my clout as majority leader to get Yonkers to be one of the first projects to receive funding. I've written to Secretary Buttigieg, I've talked to Secretary Buttigieg, and there's no guarantees here, but usually when I ask for a project to be number one, there's a good chance we get it. You know, the majority leader approves all his appointments. The project would finally give Yonkers the Greenway, the accessible transportation needed to breathe life into our community's businesses, repave crumbling roads, boosting safety, constructing bike paths, creating more walkable streets with all the greenery and trees residents have been asking for. It's going to put Yonkers in the fast lane for revitalization in the neighborhoods that need it most. So let me explain. The Sawmill River Parkway is a 1926 construction. Were you around? That's just a little joke because he is young, active, and vital. The Sawmill, it's Friday afternoon, you get into the joke phase, you know? The Sawmill River Parkway's 1926 construction segregated the city's low-income and the city. Low-income housing projects were relegated to the west side of the parkway, and more expensive split-level homes covered the hills to the east. As people began moving up from New York City into the suburbs, Yonkers was one of the first. A victim of the new automobile era, the old Putnam Railroad, that once connected immigrant workers in southwest Yonkers, ended service in 1943. Without its 4 stations, these historically red-lined neighborhoods were not only separated from each other, but they were suddenly disconnected from the opportunities of Westchester and New York City. The barriers remains a roadblock to this day, a roadblock to better transportation, and its impacts are still being felt by residents. The Journal News, someone here from the Journal News? Well, you deserve a lot of credit, Journal News, because you did a very, very good series addressing the impact abandoned infrastructure like this and historic redlining had on Yonkers, including how concrete monstrosities create urban heat islands, making it up to 15 degrees hotter in places like this neighborhood because there's no greenery, almost no greenery. Indeed, it also makes it harder for people to get where they needed to go. Anyone who rides a bicycle, as I mentioned I do, knows that right now it's nearly impossible to get from Getty Square in downtown Yonkers to the Bronx on your bike. Okay? It would be great cardio if you did it. Now we finally have the federal... I'm from Brooklyn. Now we finally have the federal program available to reconnect southwest Yonkers separated by the sawmill. And as you can see from the renderings, there's a chart, supposed to be a chart behind us. As you can see from the renderings, you know what it says on here? Motion to chart. As you can see from the renderings, that's funny. This project would provide so many benefits to this community. It would replace miles of unused land sitting barren with concrete, with green space, tree-lined paths to make it easier to get everyone in the community, and opening up transit options from Metro North to dozens of Westchester bus routes and the Bronx Subway number 1. So it has, just doing this project will open up so many different pathways in so many different ways. It's sort of at the core of revitalization of this community. It's so important. It would also help breathe new life into the businesses on the corridor on South Broadway, which of course is Southwest Yonkers Central Business District. When you invest in transportation, it uplifts the whole community. More community members once again access jobs and service, and more businesses come to South Broadway. And since this project will expand access to dozens of Westchester B-line bus routes and give alternatives like walking and biking, it means people are going to be healthier and able to go about their daily tasks. Now, this has been a vision of this community for decades, but there's never quite been the dollars to do it. And that's one of the great things that Jamal and I did in passing the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And again, as majority leader, I was able to craft it, and I was passionate about reconnecting communities and undoing some of the environmental injustices that had occurred for the last century. And now there's money to do it. And as I said, this program fits it to a T. If when we were designing this program, you had to think of a community that needs it, deserves it, and will most benefit from it, it would be right here in Southwest Yonkers. So that is a very, very good thing. Now in 2009, I have a lot more, last page. In 2009, advocates from Yonkers' Lawrence Street neighborhood came across the long-abandoned Smith O'Hara Levine Park and converted it in the early 60s from the old Putnam Railroad's lower station. By the 80s, however, the park fell in disrepair, and where many saw an abandoned space haunted by Yonkers' industrial past, the community leaders, many of whom are here, saw the opportunity. They'd resurrect the green space and make it a community hub. If you were part of that, raise your hands. We want to give you applause. This project is the missing link that could unite over 3 miles of walking and biking here in South Yonkers, taking you right to the gateway of Van Cortlandt Park from Getty Square, giving people full access to the city and its greenway and its network. The greenway allows residents to travel on trails within Van Cortlandt Park and ultimately to the South County Trail and the Old Croton Aqueduct State Trail, reconnecting Southwest Yonkers to the eastern side of the Sawmill. I just announced earlier this week that an agreement's been reached between CSX to cover Tibbetts Brook and extend the Putnam Greenway in the Bronx, and the Yonkers Greenway will take you right to the door of this project. So I'm working on that, and that'll be 2 projects, sort of connecting each other. All of Yonkers, we believe, is united in making this happen. Now the feds, that means Jamal and me, just need to do our part to get the final funding. And as I said, I pledge to you I'm going to use all my clout as majority leader to get it, and I'll have the great help of our next speaker, your wonderful, community-oriented, grassroots, knowledgeable Jamal Bowman.
Thank you, Senator Schumer. First, I want to announce that our Queen Mother Earth Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins has arrived. So let's ask her to step forward and say hello. She is here. I also want to acknowledge Yonkers City Councilwoman Shanae Williams, who's also here, as well as City Councilwoman Tasha Diaz. And Mayor Mike Spano is going to acknowledge the other people. I took 2 off your hands. Trying to get better at that. So it's great to be here. Thank you all for coming out. As you can see by the amount of people here today, the entire community is around and excited for this project. So this is very, very exciting. The federal government was responsible for redlining. The federal government was responsible for segregating and separating communities based on race and class. And it is the federal government's responsibility to step up and right that historical wrong. Yonkers has been segregated for far too long, as has the Bronx, Mount Vernon, and other parts of my district. And we heard loud and clear from the community from the first day I was sworn into office that this was a priority for the community. And we worked directly with the city, with the mayor and the city council when I first got in, to make sure we continue to advocate for this project. And we actually got it included as one of my member designated projects during our first year. And Senator Schumer was a major supporter of that. Unfortunately, our colleagues on the other side of the aisle in the Senate got it taken out. So we organized again to work to make it part of a community project funding request, and unfortunately that request also failed. So we are here again to continue to fight to get this done, because this is about access and opportunity, righting historical wrongs, and also the issue of environmental justice. Because guess what? When people live amongst and around green spaces, it improves their overall quality of life. It improves their health. It improves their well-being, and they are less likely to commit crime. So this is about developing and designing and revitalizing Yonkers, but it's also about improving green space as well as access and opportunity. And what you're going to see is economic development take off in areas like Southwest Yonkers once this project is completed. And the last thing I'll say is this. Communities weren't just separated and segregated and redlined and it being left there. Those communities were then strategically disinvested in over several decades. So this is not just an environmental justice issue. This is about disinvestments in housing, in public education, and so many other areas because of historically redlined communities. So the federal government, myself, along with Senator Schumer, fighting to get this done. Once we get it done, it is going to right that historical wrong and revitalize the entire area and improve the quality of life of people who live here. So this is incredibly exciting. Let's get this done, Chuck. I know we will. Not only have you written and spoken to Secretary Buttigieg, I spoke to him on the phone specifically about this project. He is excited about the project, so now is the time for us to get it done. Thank you so much. I now pass the mic to Mayor Mike Spanner. Oh, no. Okay.
Thank you, Leader Stewart Cousins, and certainly Leader Schumer. We're so excited to have you here to Yonkers and Congressman Bowman, especially working together on this project. I also, just a little housekeeping, Councilman John Rubo was here, right? And County Legislator Jose Alvarado. And do we miss any other elected? If you do, just raise your hand. The people that are here, we know each other well. We've worked on many different projects together. I love this particular project. I mean, this is the community I was born and raised in. And this was a place that we used to sneak to, but we weren't allowed really to hang out over here. It was a very different time. And it wasn't kind of place that anybody really wanted. There was a lot of activity here that wasn't good activity. But it's changed. It's changed and it's changing and it continues to change. It's changed because we have investment here. We have investment by the county. We have investment by the city. We have certainly the buy-in of people that live in this community where we're cleaning this beautiful site where there was just over my shoulder was a wonderful train station. We don't have the picture here of the old train station that was here. That this would go all the way down to City Hall, but would go as far south as the Polo Grounds. That tells you a lot about our history, about Yonkers, and how far we've come and how this trail has contributed to really what Yonkers is today. And so, Senator Schumer, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being here and pushing for us. Congressman Bowman, again, same thing. We can't wait because we need some deep pockets to make this a reality. And we've invested probably $5 or $6 million in this project already, but it's never going to be enough. But with your help, we can make it a reality. And thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And we are lucky. Yonkers is represented by two majority leaders. What do you think of that? I don't think there's any other place, probably in the country, other than in Andrea Stewart Cousins district and in New York State, that is represented by two majority leaders, which makes us lucky, powerful, concerned, and helpful.
We thank you. I just thank you so much. Mother Earth needs water, but not not right now. So anyway, how lucky are we? Because this has certainly been a long time coming, and the fact that I call him the other majority leader, but he knows
I
that
aspired to be Andrea Stewart
for years.
For years, and here I am.
And here he is. And what does he do? He brings the bacon home. Yes. So give him a round of applause because we waited for this, but now, I tease him, but clearly what happens on the federal government matters in so many ways. And the resources that are available there when you have someone who's not only represents the values that you have, but has the opportunity and the clout to direct these resources in the right way, we are extremely fortunate. And there's nobody who will fight more for resources, especially for disadvantaged communities, neglected communities, than I have seen my friend Congressman Bowman.
All right.
He, does not mince words, and, it's a time and a moment now for us to really face our past and reconcile, our present so that we can ensure a future that is really worthy of our community. So, Mayor, thank you. And I know I was reading one thing that said that Yonkers was like one of the happiest places in the country. Go figure.
All because of your great elected officials.
But clearly, I know everybody, look at all these happy people. But clearly, as we continue to do these kinds of investments, righting the wrongs. So when I started in city government in 1992, Lawrence Street, as the mayor was saying, was not only not a good place to be, but it was kind of a number one target for everybody to try and let's clean up Lawrence Street, and it was a focal point. But what was missing was the willingness to invest in a community. So we have turned that corner. We're investing in all over Yonkers. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you to all my colleagues in government. And of course, you didn't say the state stepped up. You meant to say because you know what I mean? Because of well, yeah, okay, all right. Oh, okay. Gotta keep them honest.
Of course, representing the state as well as our great assembly. My friends who I joke with.
Thank you very much. This is really historical. It's a proud moment for Yonkers. And as the majority leader stated, it really is a tribute to the leadership we have. When you have the majority leader like Chuck Schumer lobbying for Yonkers and Congressman Jamal Bowman, joined by the mayor of the administration, Mike Spano, and of course, as the majority leader said, this is a state, a city, a federal and county initiative. And I can tell you as a lifelong resident of Yonkers, and I grew up in Southwest Yonkers, and as an educator serving principal of School 13, Jim Landis here can attest to the importance not only for education and quality of life, but the enjoyment for our families and kids to enjoy facilities like this here today. So with teams working together at all levels with the community at large, this will become a reality soon. And as the third largest city, the mayor would often state, we're a city that's on the move. And on the move is being proactive and delivering where quality of life benefits all of us. So congratulations to everybody here who had anything and everything to do with making this possible.
Thank you. By the way, you mentioned I just flew in from the fourth largest city in the state. I was in Rochester, dedicating a new electric vehicle auto plant. We're going to have new jobs, a lot of union workers there. So from the fourth largest city to the third largest city. Okay, we have a few more speakers for some brief remarks. I'm going to call them up all together. They don't have to come all together, but so I don't have to. Ellen Thegg from Groundwork Hudson, Wilson Kimball from Municipal Housing for Yonkers, and Jessica Gordon from South Broadway Improvement District. Okay, Ellen, you're on.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah. It's just such an honor to be here for Groundwork Hudson Valley and to have this support from all these powerful people for the work that serves this community. I'm going to give a shout out to Renee Mulligan, who is a resident of this neighborhood, and she was the person who first started the revitalization in recent times. She wanted to do a cleanup. She brought the mayor down to see this area, and she planted this seed that sparked this whole initiative, bringing the Greenway here. So it's only community, we're only as strong as our community members, and Groundwork is happy to serve their interests. This has been a long time in the planning, 15 years we've been working on this. EPA Brownfields grant, New York State Parks Investigation Grant that started this. A lot of private funders who believed in the community, so we're all very grateful for all of their support. And now with Senator Schumer here, we're just so honored to be here with you. And it's an example of public-private partnerships that should be an example for the rest of the country of what you can do when you work with your community, and all the various stakeholders who have different and competing interests can come together at a table and make something like this happen. I want to say that this park was the first stage of the Greenway we're happy to have been part of. And one of the community members came up to me after this had been built, and he said, you know, I've lived in this neighborhood for 28 years. This is the best thing that's ever happened to our neighborhood. And I can hear that echoing up and down the Greenway from all of what's going to happen when this Greenway is built. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Schumer. I'm Wilson Kimball from Yonkers Housing Authority. I want to recognize our chairman, Jim Landy, who's here and been a leader in the community, and Senator Stuart Cousins, Javal Bowman, who has visited our tenants who are here. We have 1,700 units in the city. We have thousands of tenants. And what we find is with heat island effect, as the senator said, there's a giant impact on not just your housing. If the temperature goes up several degrees, standardized test scores go down. When the temperature goes up, health outcomes go down. More asthma, more COPD. So basically what we're trying to say here is your environment and your housing, it's not just a home, it's your health, it's your education, it's your future. And we owe that to all of our residents here in Yonkers and in municipal housing. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you, Wilson. And last is Jessica.
Thank you, Senator, for being here.
I love Jessica's update.
I'm glad. So it's not any secret or hard to tell that it's been about 30 years since any real investment has happened on South Broadway. So this is extremely important to that community and the businesses therein. That it's happening in conjunction with a green project is a bonus for us. I'm a strong advocate of bike lanes. I am going to work hard in our district to invite every young and old and Senator Schumer to our district to frequent our businesses and our restaurants on their scooters, their e-bikes, their whatever pedal, non-pedals they want to come in. So we invite this project. We have worked over the last couple of years to work with all of the elected officials at many different levels of government and our city officials to make this a reality. I'd like to give a special recognition to Mr. Mario, from Mario Caruso from the City Planning Department. It's not easy, like Ellen mentioned, working with so many different entities with competing interests, and Mario does it very graciously, and he answers all emails and calls, and that's very important in this environment when we have such an important task to get done. I welcome all of our community to come and advocate for the bike lanes and for the rest of the greenscape that's going to happen here. We look forward to having an attraction like this close to our district, and we will use it to the benefit of our businesses and our community. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to call it a day, but I want to say one final thing. One of the ways they measure how good a project is and how they get the money, because there are going to be hundreds of competing projects all over, is does it have grassroots support? Is this just something that some local leaders and politicians came up with, or does it have grassroots? And grassroots really matters. And this project, it comes from the grassroots. It's inured in the grassroots. And we want to, thus, I think all of us as elected officials and appointed officials want to give all the grassroots community people a round of applause, because you're going to make this happen. And with that, I'm on my way to White Plains.
Good to see you, Eduardo. I'll be in touch. Okay, take care. Let me try to get at it.
Mr. Reporter, you did a great job. What's your name? Eduardo. Eduardo, great work. I care about this, and we're going to get it done. I just wanted to ask you. He was not in touch. Yonkers needs it. Yonkers has been one of the greatest victims of environmental injustice, and this will be a model for the rest of the country of why these monies are important and these dollars are well spent. Undoing past injustice is a very good and important thing. Thank you, Eduardo. Okay. Yes, let's do it.